Welcome to the story of the Transfiguration. This story is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 1 through 13. The lesson focus for grades 3 and 4 is, God's changes can be surprising. The word Messiah means the one anointed by God. Jesus was born at a time when people of Israel were expecting a Messiah. They weren't exactly sure who they were looking for. Some were expecting a king or warrior leader, others a prophet or high priest, and still others a servant anointed for the task of justice. Jesus' teaching, preaching, and healing attracted large crowds and lots of questions and speculations. People began to wonder if he could be the Messiah. The Transfiguration of Jesus is a story full of mystery and symbol. It is difficult to understand completely. What is clear is that it connects to the past, as shown by the details it shares with other Old Testament stories. However, it also points forward to the future. When God speaks in this story, it is to identify Jesus as his beloved Son and to tell the disciples to listen to him. God seems to say, "Look, I am doing something new. Watch for the transformation. Be a part of it." Jesus is the Messiah. He is the one God anointed to fulfill all that was promised in the Old Testament and to reveal what God is up to now. We believe in a God who transforms us, and God's changes can surprise us. God is always up to something new. God points back to the past, then says, "Watch for what I'm doing now," and then points us to the future. Each of us is part of a community. As members of a Christian community, we are called to listen to Jesus and to be kind to one another. The original disciples of Jesus did not know exactly what the transformation meant, and neither do we, perhaps. But its theme is clear. God is up to something new. We are to watch, follow, listen, and be surprised. The Transfiguration was definitely a surprising experience for those who saw it. God's changes can be surprising. This may be the first time kids have heard the Transfiguration story. Keeping the focus on God as a surpriser can help them better understand the story, and it will keep them engaged. The Transfiguration was surprising, and God's changes are often surprising. If you have any stories about surprising changes in your own life, share them with kids. Squabbles and arguments between kids can bring the whole class down. Remind your kids that your class time is an important time. Outside issues don't have any place in your classroom. Encourage kids to resolve their issues before arriving in class and to leave all crabby bad moods at the door when they arrive. Craft sticks are a fun, tactile material for kids to use to unscramble the sentence during the arrival activity. But don't worry if you don't have any available. You can easily substitute colored paper for the craft sticks and still have a fun and meaningful activity that sets up this story. If you are concerned that you might run out of time for all the lesson activities, ask kids to work in groups of 2 to 4 to complete the Story Search leaflet activity. This will help create community and will help kids complete the activity more quickly than if they did it on their own. In the Seeing Double leaflet activity, some kids may have a hard time seeing the individual images. Have them change the angle of their folded paper or move their head closer or farther from it. Using these tips should make the activity work for everyone in the class. God is at work in our world, even though we don't always see it. The changes aren't always as brilliant and dazzling as the change in Jesus during the Transfiguration. But God's changes can be surprising.